Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we received the new 1.5.4 beta and the 1.53 move to live. This patch is about 2.5 gigabytes and has a lot of good changes. I am going to link the new beta patch down below if you guys want to go check it out. Also, like always, I have a script. Everything I say and all the links that are stated, they're all going to be down below for you guys to check out or translate or whatever you guys want to do. I'm going to make this video short and to the point. Only big changes will be included. I will also make a longer video with all the changes included later today. It's going to be more of a discussion video where we go over the thread and all of that. And it's going to be obviously a longer video. But this one is just to show off, the major and the big changes of the patch. So without further ado, let's get to the changes. So we're going to do single player, then multiplayer, and then both, right? So single player first. We have save game files are now categorized by their game in the UI. So pretty much each campaign that you start is going to be categorized by a drop-down menu. And it was shown in the new development patch also, where it's easier to find now, and it's easier to find all your saves. Going to be grouped up instead of just, a straight line down, right? Next we have is a lot of crash fixes. You can pause to check them out. There's even more than just the ones that are on the screen right now, and we are going to go over all of them in the longer video today. Next we have is 5 new Empire villages were added. Some people might be confused by this, but they just mean they mean scenes, like 5 new Empire village scenes, like the ones when you enter what's called a village on the map. That scene that generates the thing that you can walk through, those have been added. So 5 new different variations have been added. These are not Empire villages on the map, if that kind of makes sense, right? Next we have is added additional colors for skin, hair, and eyes to the character creation screen. There's various improvements on the textures and bench shapes. Also added bushy eyebrows. Just overall more character creation possibilities. Always good to see. Next we have is town quick talk. So players can now talk to nobles in town centers, companions in taverns, and lords and keeps through the map conversation screen without a loading screen by using the quick talk button. So this feature pretty much makes it so there's a lot less loading, no loading screen. You just get straight to the point if you just need to talk to somebody and not actually go into the tavern or the town or the keep and all that other stuff, right? Next is the crafting screen changes. So new visuals for the crafting final stage pop up, stamina bars for smithing heroes so that you can use the stamina without hovering over the hero. And a civilian icon will be shown if the crafted weapon is also usable in the civilian equipment set. Overall, good changes to see. Obviously, the crafting system still needs an overhaul. They are working on it. There has not been an ETA on it, but it is what it is. Next we have is added new icons to the inventory that shows the current hero skills on hover. Good to see. Next we have is added sorting to single player scoreboards, and now heroes are shown at the top of their party lists. We have talked about this in the previous dev talk video. They have said this is coming, and also a lot of changes that they have stated are coming in the past, they are here in this patch, so very good to see overall. Next we have is added an option to swap characters and mount places in the inventory for a more focused view of the equipped mount. Very, very cool. Now, if a locked item is removed from the inventory, it won't lose its lock status when the item is added back to the inventory until the player removes the lock themselves. So if you did have a locked item and you would switch it over to the town, all of a sudden if you ever bought that item again, it would not come in locked. It would just come unlocked again, right? But now it's going to come in locked unless you specifically take that off, right? A good change in my opinion. Next we have is added a drop down for hero selection to inventory, similar to how the character developer drop down works as well. Next we have is added heroes health and wounded information to hideout troop management window. So this was a critique that a player had, where they liked the old pretty much the troop management window for the hideouts because it showed the hero's health and if they were wounded or not. And the dev said that they are trying to find a fix for that, where they don't have to go back to the old version, but kind of just improve the new version. And this is how they improved it. Next we have is added wage of the party and tooltips to troop icons in the clan/party tab. Good UI change. Then we have is added a confirmation query to the disband army in kingdom/armies tab. So now you have to do another confirmation, which again, I said there needs to be a lot of confirmation screens, and this is good. It's a good start, but we need a lot more for a lot more other choices we make. Now, onto a very, 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 very big part. So they've added, I would say, let me count it up really quick in my head, about, if I'm not mistaken, about 200, a little bit less than 200 new primary and secondary perks. So huge in my opinion. So let's just read them off. So they added 31 combat-related primary and secondary throwing perks effects to the game. This should complete all the throwing perks in the current design. So they're done with the throwing perks. Now we have added 25 campaign side rogue perks, 31 campaign side tactic perks, 40 campaign side scouting perks, 38 campaign side steward perks, and 33 campaign side trade perks. So campaign, the difference between combat and campaign is it's in the name, right? So stuff that doesn't have to do with combat, with fighting or anything like that, those are campaign sided perks. And obviously combat related perks are in the name. Those are the ones that have to do with fighting and conflict overall, right? So yeah, a lot of perks. Go check them out. There's plenty to check out. A lot of stuff you're gonna need to respec and all of that. And also they fixed some perks as well. So they fixed riding combat perks. Mounted warrior, the secondary effect was accidentally set as the party leader effect. This is correctly set as the captain effect now. Horse archers, the horse archer riding perk, they corrected the perk explanation text. And then for the, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Sagittarius, they fixed a problem which accidentally reduced ranged accuracy when it should have increased it. That is now fixed. So overall, a lot to the perks. People have been complaining about perks since day one. Hopefully this settles a lot for them, right? Because this is huge in my opinion. A lot more than I was expecting. I was expecting 1 or 2 skill trees, but this is way above and beyond. Next we have is they added new clans. Very interesting, very cool. Hopefully they add more in the future and keep building on that, because I always love to see new faces in the game. And also, clans will respawn their parties based on settlement location data rather than the saved coordinates, to avoid situations where data loss during loading could lead to parties glitching into the geometry of settlements. So for example, this means it's going to prevent lords from spawning inside settlements and blocking the settlement's gates. This was a problem that is now fixed. Next we have is the healing skill. Kind of got like a little bit of an overhaul, right? So it did not affect the healing speed for larger armies. Instead of scaling the healing rate with an army size, it scales better with the medicine skill. This change should make medicine skill more meaningful, which is very good, because I always stated it's not that great. It's kind of cool, but it's not that great, right? So they changed healing for regulars from 0.2 plus 0.2 times wounded count to a fixed 5 base healing. So huge boost. Then we have they changed settlement healing for regulars from 8 to 10, another boost. And then we have changed the skill bonus for healing regulars from 0.1% per skill to 1% per skill. So a lot of bonuses, a lot faster healing if you choose to level up your medicine. So very cool to see. Next we have is increased the lower boundary of the herd speed penalty players receive. If you have a high amount of animals in relationship to your party size, you're going to have a bigger speed penalty pretty much, right? So you're going to go a lot slower now. Next we have is artisans now offer troops like other notables. So before the devs have said that the artisans are not supposed to offer troops, but I'm guessing they changed their mind on that, and now they are offering troops like every other notable in a town or a village, right? Next, they have the stashes were added to the player-owned castles. Very cool. Cool addition. I like it. The next one we have is the same access rules will be applied to all player clan members in a settlement. If a player doesn't have access to a lord's hall, their clan members, family members, and companions will spawn in the tavern instead of the keep. Once access is gained, all clan members can appear in the lord's hall. Makes sense. Good change. Next we have is quests. So Prodigal Son and Village Needs Drought animals have been added. Also a lot of changes to existing quests. They're going to be on the screen like always. If you wish to pause and check those out, go for it. Next we have is they added new comments to frequently encountered conversations. So the last patch they have added a lot of conversations that you can have with the pretty much the members of the community, the townspeople, and they kind of give you, you know, oh, this guy's pushing our borders, or this war is going back. Like, they just have more conversation options, right? And they added even more comments that they can pretty much make. And I think they should keep building on this. I think, like, if we can get to the point where I could have a full-fledged conversation with a random townsperson, I think that would be great. So keep adding to this, in my opinion. Next we have is body armors with arm/legs covers now provide more armor to those parts. Very, very, very cool. So armor pieces have been pretty much rebalanced and recalibrated overall. Most troops now use different armor pieces that are balanced for their tier and troop type. So literally almost an overhaul. Very cool to see. Hopefully that helps with the armor situation. Obviously it still needs a lot of work, but hopefully this does help. Next, there was a huge feature that a lot of people did want. Players can now use Alt plus left mouse button to escort a party, pretty much follow a party. This has been a warband feature that a lot of people wanted back. It is now finally in the game. Very cool to see. Then we have added encyclopedia entries for Imperial factions. So there you go. Just, it's kind of a minor change, but again, encyclopedia is a big part of the game, so good change. Now on to multiplayer. So Crush Through. A lot of people don't like it. I like it. I feel like there should be more stuff added like Crush Through, but I know a lot of people don't like it, so here are the changes for it. So they increased Crush Through energy threshold, so it's harder to do. And they also made it slightly easier to crush through with two-handed maces in relationship to the energy threshold change. So if you use two-handed maces, you should still be good when it comes to crush through, but other weapons, it's harder, right? And next we have is the Drummer Forest, which was a map, was fixed in terms of barriers, exploits, and visual bugs. Proper barriers have been applied to cliffs and roofs. Also, there are some fixes made in ruins of Jawali, which includes having matching rock and cliff textures, fixing the barriers around unused areas, and fixing the nav mash problems. So overall, hopefully these are good fixes, and we'll see how the multiplayer community receives them. Also, they added dead teammate indicators to kind of, give people heads up. And also they added sorting to multiplayer clans tabs. Very cool. Now, on to both single player and multiplayer. So first, they added UI scale control in the options. Very, very cool. You can scale it up and down however you like it. Very cool, in my opinion. Next, they have is change the show banners on friendly troops option into a slider that controls the opacity of these banners, so they will not get in your face anymore whenever you're trying to aim with a bow or trying to do something else. And there's a lot of troops nearby. Sometimes they block your vision. Now you can set that so you can kind of see through that. Very cool. Also, this was a suggestion that was made on a what's it called? One of the threads that the devs have checked out earlier this month. Almost forgot to add this, but now you can get the old warband crosshair, the 3.1. Just by changing it in the options, and then you can play with it right away, which I think is very cool. They have said that they were working on this, and it's very cool to see in the game. Next we have is a separated general kill feed top right and a personal feed center middle controls in the options. So now whatever kills you get and whatever kills your your overall party or army gets, they are two separate feeds. Very cool. Then we have significant performance improvements for the animation system. This will benefit situations with lots of animations such as battles and very populated town scenes. So another good optimization, what would you call it? Boost, in my opinion, because every single big patch we have seen something significantly when it comes to performance-wise changed, and this looks like this is going to be the one for this patch. So animation system has been a little bit improved. Then we have chasing agents followed the same path, which caused them to move in a line. Now they spread out a little bit, which looks more natural. So if someone is chasing you, they're not going to just chase in a line. They're going to kind of, spread out, kind of chase, kind of like side by side in a way, if that kind of makes sense, right? Next we have is agents will now surround enemy agents and choose a position based on the weapon length of the enemy, which is very, very cool in my opinion. Very cool change that probably will be overlooked, but very significant. If the enemy had a longer weapon like a spear, the surrounding agent moved a little bit farther away from the enemy to not get hit with the spear. Now they compare the enemy's weapon length with their weapon length and move closer if the enemy's weapon is longer. Very, very good for the AI. This will actually help significantly in terms of battles and fights. And next I have is cavalry. So they reduce the angle of possible rear ups, which is pretty much where the horse gets on twos on their two back feet and kind of goes up and goes, woo, you know what I'm saying? Something like that, right? And you're pretty much stopped in place. Then they have increased rear and damage threshold a little bit, so it's kind of harder to do. So they don't just get reared up in every single little corner they hit. And then we have brace spears can now also rear up cavalry. So they added another thing that can rear up cavalry to kind of, give it a little bit of balance. Obviously, we still need a big nerf to cavalry or something along those lines, or a big buff to other things that can counter cavalry. But it's a little change in my opinion. Also, we did get some, well, pretty much lastly, we did get some changes to modding tools. They're going to be on the screen right now if you are interested in that and want to pause. But that is pretty much all the big changes. Like I stated, there's going to be a more detailed video coming tonight. It's going to be a discussion video. We're just going to look through the thread and kind of read along and all of that. And lastly, I am going to end this video in the same way in most of my update and dev talk and hotfix videos. I want to thank the developers for staying active and bringing good changes. Also, I have a video on how you can revert your game to any other patch or to this current patch if you are stuck on a previous patch. The link will be down below. Very quick video. It's going to get you to where you're going. Also, I did start a Patreon. It's nothing crazy. Basic support, no paywalling. My content's always going to be free. It's just another way to support me and what I do further. So that link will be down below. And hopefully this video was informative. And like always, stay safe.